Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Hey lovelies, it's Kate. Welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. It's time for a Mediterranean mansion. I built this on a 50 by 40 lot and I wanted to create a build that's Mediterranean and that just has summer vibes. It's summer right now and I just felt like building a beautiful mansion that just makes you want to spend time in the garden. And I started off by working on these custom windows. I used some doorways from vampires. I combined multiple of them to create this look, and I then placed a window in the center. So it looks like this, and the window is from the industrial kit. I think there's a very similar one in the base game, which was added in a patch at some point. So if you want to recreate this, but you don't own the industrial kit, you could just use the one from the base game. This doorway is also from the industrial pack, and I did the same thing with this one. And I then just slowly expanded the build, and I just wanted this to be super dreamy. I decided to use some black windows and doorways. Recently, that's just my thing. Like, I had a phase where I was using white columns, windows, and just everything all the time. And right now, I just feel super inspired to use a dark swatch for the windows, columns, and different things. I just feel like it has a super modern vibe, and I'm just really into this type of style right now. So I decided to do the same for this build, but I still wanted this to look Mediterranean, so I used these columns from the Romantic Garden Stuff pack. They just have the perfect vibe for a house like this, and I used this floor color, so I was going for a mix of a kind of edgy, almost industrial vibe and a Mediterranean vibe. I've created so many Mediterranean mansions on this channel. Like, it's been a while since the last one, so I felt like building another one. It's been a couple of months or maybe even a year. I'm not sure right now, but I just wanted to create a Mediterranean mansion that's different. So I was going for a completely different vibe. I don't think that I would have ever used so much black in a Mediterranean mansion. Like, I always used brown, just super warm tones. And here I was going for this contrast, so it's something different. And at first I used this roof swatch, which has a cool gray color, but I'm going to change the roof, and the change of the roof swatch is what really makes it Mediterranean in my opinion. And this wall decoration is from Jungle Adventure. I just wanted to have some type of cornerstone, and it just adds so much detail to a wall. This has been one of my favorite objects ever since Jungle Adventure came out. It's so versatile and it just adds so much detail. I love it so much. And I then just use these lamps from Cottage Living, and I sometimes like to size up a shelf and I place it below the flowers in front of the window because I don't like the plastic look of the default one, and I'm just kind of hiding the plastic bottom and it looks so much better. And in this case I had used a shelf from Get Together, which is my favorite shelf. Probably a weird thing to say, like having a favorite shelf in a game. And I then just did the same thing on the right side, so you can see that it's a symmetrical build, which is always tricky to me because I feel like as soon as something is too symmetrical, it can look boring. So I was a bit hesitant, but then it just looked super cool and I was happy with this. And I just love this fence so much that I've used for the balcony is from Strangerville actually, and I've never used it before, and also never in a black swatch. Like, I would have never thought of using it in a black swatch, but it just works so well. And I then started to work on the pool. I just wanted to have a really unique pool shape, so I used this rug from the base game, so I had a half circle, and I used the Get Famous Pristine pedestal, so I was able to follow the shape of my rug, and I just created a round shape. I'm holding Alt on my keyboard and the left mouse button, and this way I can rotate objects freely. I've made a pool tutorial recently which shows a different version of a round pool, so it's not exactly this, but this tutorial like really shows you how to rotate objects and how to do something like this. And I did the same on the other side, and I had a beautiful pool shape. So the thing is, I really like to just hide the edges when I'm working on something like this, because you can see that the pool is kind of sticking out, and I had no idea what to do. Like usually I'd use the Spotty Stony Goodness Lab, but I didn't want to do it in this case, so I just decided to use this object, which is basically a rock from Get Together. You can find it in the decoration section where you can find sculptures, so it's not where you would find a rock. And at first I decided to use a pink swatch, like a pastel pink swatch. I don't know why, because it didn't really look good. It didn't make a lot of sense. A pop of color is great, but here just the combination with the rest of the build didn't make a lot of sense, so I just changed the color to white. So in case you're wondering why it's not pink anymore, I just couldn't bring myself to leave it pink. Just I thought, okay, something new, something different, but it just wasn't working out, not for this build. I then just started to furnish the balconies a bit. At some point, for whatever reason, the ceiling just disappeared, probably when I was starting to work on the interior, but there was no ceiling left, and I repaired this, and I don't know what was going on, but sometimes this is how it is. I moved the whole build a bit to the back so I had more space, and I wanted to have a beautiful gazebo. For this I just built a floor piece. I used some regular rooms instead of columns because I feel like it just looks cool in this case, it makes sense. I then decided to use some platforms to fill in the area in the center. Platforms are always amazing to just add more dimension, more detail, and platforms can be buggy and cause some issues, but this was like really simple, just adding a couple of platforms in the center, and it was working perfectly fine. And I just added a floor piece on top and then a roof, and this way I was able to add an exterior trim going around it. This one is from Get Famous, and while it has some really modern vibes, it's just perfect for a build like this, like when you want to have some detail and you want to have an exterior trim, maybe even for a Mediterranean vibe. It's perfect, like it has this vibe but more low-key. It's just perfect in my opinion. And I used so many plants, bushes, trees from the wedding pack. So the wedding pack is set in Italy, like the whole world was inspired by Italy, and this is what I was going for here. So I decided to use these trees, and I've been using them so much recently. Like they are my favorite trees in the game, like these big debug trees from the wedding pack, just so amazing. I'm excited to see which object is going to be my favorite object from the upcoming pack, the high school pack. And even if I'm not really in love with a pack, like if it's just not my thing, there's usually at least one object that just makes me so happy. Just like your Tuba 2, which I've talked a lot about in my last video. There are just so many beautiful hidden gems in this pack, and there's usually always something you can discover. But to be honest, I'm still most excited for the round walls, if they should come. I think there are no news right now. We still have to wait, but I would expect that if the round walls will be added to the game, it should be a base game update right before the pack comes out. And the pack is coming out at the end of the month, and I'm just so ready for this, because last month was all about werewolves, and then very soon there will be a new pack, and I'm just so excited to create some exciting builds for you. I'm planning to build a school. I've received multiple comments just asking for me to build a school, and yes, I'm definitely going to build a school. I know that I'm not known for community builds. I'm always the one to build mansions or just residential lots, but it's definitely time to work on a wonderful community lot. I'm really excited to build a school. It's something I've never done before, and I'm just ready, and I hope you're ready as well. I hope you want to see a school on this channel. I then built a trellis just using some base game fences, and I changed the color, and I had no idea which color to use. It was super difficult. And I also built a basement, and I clicked on the basement to remove the ceiling. For this, you just click on it, you click on the yellow outline, that's it. And at first I wanted to have like a building down there, and then I removed it, which is why there was like a cut in between a minute ago. I just had no idea what to do, so I had the small building down there, but the whole build or the lot was too small for this. Like, it looked super cramped in. I didn't like the look, so I got rid of it. I then used a fountain from the wedding pack. I also didn't like this, and then I just changed it completely, and I just wanted this to be like a garden, like a part of the garden where you would just go down and you could just hang out, you could sunbathe down there. So I had no idea what to do. Like, this area was so difficult to just kind of furnish or just turning it into something. I was so pleased with the rest of the build and the lot, but I had no idea what to do there. Like, it's so weird. I had focused so much on the center of the lot, like the house, then the pool in the center and the little gazebo, that I had no idea what to do with the rest of the lot. And yeah, in this area, then just decided to landscape a bit. I used the terrain tools to create a hole in the ground. I filled it using the pond tool, and I just used some beautiful base game rocks to really decorate this, and just some plants so it looks natural. So there's just a really natural, beautiful area where your Sims could enjoy nature, and I just tried to fill in the whole area. This object is like some type of rock essentially. It's from Debug, it's base game, and it's just for decorative purposes. There's one which looks very similar. It's gray, and it doesn't have a pattern like this. And this one, the gray one, is going to block your Sims pass, so you have to make sure to use this one. Another great object for this is the rock thingy that I've used around the pool, which was pastel pink initially. I can also recommend this, especially for modern builds, if you want to have like some stones on a path. I then started to work on the floor plan. You can here see how I've removed the ceiling. So I wanted that to be like a basement, and I wanted this to be open. So it looks really cool, so your Sims can just walk down there. I just like this because just as on the outside, as soon as you have a basement with an open ceiling, it just adds so much complexity to a build. I love this so much. And I also used the columns from the Romantic Garden Stuff pack again, because it's just perfect for this Mediterranean vibe. The curtains are from the wedding pack. I feel like the interior has the same vibe as the exterior. There are lots of dark elements, but also lots of whites. So it's like a combination. There's a nice contrast. There are some modern vibes, but also very like Mediterranean vibes, very rustic almost. And I wanted to have a mirror on the wall. I recently watched Queen of the Sirens again. I've talked about this, and mirrors are a huge thing in castles, probably because they were expensive and also because they make a room appear bigger, and I really just had to think of this and wanted to have a random mirror up there, so it's functional, but it just looks cool. And I also wanted to place a fireplace down there, because you can see on the outside I've built a chimney just using a 2-tile wide room, and I thought it would be cool to actually place a fireplace down there. And I then furnished this. The painting in the background is from the base game, and this is one of those elements that just adds a modern twist to the whole build. As I said, I wanted to have a combination, but I've also used these statues from Romantic Garden Stuff pack, so there's definitely a lot of rustic stuff going on the inside. I feel like the interior might be more rustic than the outside. At first I wanted to place a bar down there, but I had no idea where to place it, so I was struggling with this a bit. I used these beautiful lamps on the wall, which are from the wedding pack once again. These are candles, which is perfect. And then used this little area up here to have a little office nook, so I just placed a dining table in front of the window and just a computer. And I used the plant curtain from the Blooming Rooms kit, and I just wanted this to be like a beautiful small corner where Sims could chill on the PC. I had no idea what else to do with this corner, to be honest. The floor plan was a bit weird, but not too weird. We've seen worse on this channel, to be honest. I then started to work on the kitchen, and the thing is, at this point the floor plan got a bit weird. Like, I noticed that there isn't a lot of space to really properly build a kitchen. I don't really like to place counters in front of a window, so I really had to see what I could do with this. I also wanted to have a combination of a wood floor and the other floor, so there's a contrast, and I just wanted to do that. And I don't know if that's a mistake or if it looks weird, but I was just trying to make it work. And the kitchen has a weird shape, but I mean, why not? At least the cabinets aren't too crazy this time around. And the counters are from the Perfect Patio Stuff Pack, I think. And when I wanted to add a bar, I remembered that there is a matching bar. At first I used a different one, but then I remembered, and this area on the right side was just perfect to place a dining table, and I then just used this little nook to have the bar that I just mentioned. And I then remembered the one that is just matching perfectly, and it looks so much better than the white one that I wanted to use before. And I just decided to place a plant in the corner, because your sim just has to stand behind the bar by barkeeper that you hire, so I didn't want to block the area too much. And I then just decorated this little nook, and I just wanted this to look very dreamy. And this might be my favorite spot in the entire house because it looks so cozy. I just added a armchair, one of those lounge chair thingies from Dream Home Decorator in the corner. I wanted to add a armchair at first, but then I decided against it, and I placed this one that you can now see here, and I just wanted this to be very dreamy, so the Sims can just hang out there. I wanted to use every single corner of this build and decorate it, and yeah, the kitchen is really quite spacious, but I kind of like it. It's different, but of course I had to build a huge island counter in the center. That's like my personal dream. Like, if I had a gigantic kitchen, I would like to have the island counter in the center. And I wouldn't even want there to be a stove like I did here. I mean, it's cool, especially in The Sims and also in real life. It's kind of cool. But I wouldn't want there to be a stove on the island counter. I just would like to have an island counter which is gigantic and completely empty. So if you roll out dough, if you are just doing anything, you just have a huge space to do so. And there's nothing in the way. You don't have to, like, keep in mind that there's like a stove and like all that stuff. I just want to have a gigantic, like, open space to roll out dough or to decorate a cake. I don't know. But a stove is also super cool on an island counter. And this is one of the bedrooms. So here's the thing. Up here there are 3 different bedrooms. Then I built more bedrooms in the basement because I figured we need more bedrooms in this house. So there are 5 bedrooms in total. And there's this beautiful open basement area that you saw earlier, and I just wanted to just add something to this area down there, and you can never have enough bedrooms. I also built a bathroom down there, so there's enough space. The build itself isn't too big because it's only a 50 by 40 lot, and I did a lot of landscaping, so I figured it would be best to just add a couple of bedrooms to the basement so you can really have a big sim family in here. Or you could use the bedrooms in the basement for a butler, for example. I mean, it's still luxurious, so the butler will feel good, but it's a bedroom in a basement. It is what it is, I guess. And for these bedrooms here, I also tried to make them really cozy, Mediterranean, and really warm. And this is it. This video is slowly coming to an end. You can here see lots of screenshots. This build is CC free and unmodded in the gallery. You can just grab it from my gallery. My ID is KateEmerald. You can also grab the trade files from my Patreon. And speaking of which, it's time to thank my wonderful Emerald Patreons and my Emerald YouTube members. A big thank you to Mehmet Ali Baris Khan, Alice Turidi, Charlotte, Asia, Emma Barnes, Lisa Martin, Saturated Spark, Shannon McClam, Telena Lynn, Stephen and Tina Turner. Thank you so much for your gigantic support. A big thank you to all my other Patreons and my other YouTube members. I always appreciate your support and it means the world to me. And I'm also very appreciative of the fact that you are here and watching my videos. So thank you to all of you for your huge support. I love you all so much. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope your Sims might enjoy this build if you should download it from the gallery or the tray files, and I just hope you will have a perfect day. Thanks for watching, and I hope I see you in the next video. Bye bye.